Dr. Bessel van der Kolk says in his book, The Body Keeps the Score, in chapter 13, as we've seen, much of the wiring of our brain circuits is devoted to being in tune with others. Recovery from trauma involves reconnecting with our fellow human beings. This is why trauma that has occurred within relationships is generally more difficult to treat than trauma resulting from traffic accidents or natural disasters, like a tornado. Hey, Survivor! Welcome to episode 130 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Today, we're talking about how to protect your peace when navigating narcissistic dynamics in relationships, especially with people who are supposed to love you. But first, let's self-regulate with a 4-for-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. We'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What sensations do you notice in your body? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor! Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. Survivor, I just got back from a wonderful trip to St. Louis, Missouri, my hometown, where I got to spend time with friends, family, and get in touch with my roots. It was a beautiful thing, and it was a very productive time as well. And as I'm sure you've read in the news, St. Louis was recently hit by an EF3 tornado, which is considered severe and has winds between 136 and 165 miles per hour. And I have to tell you, goodness, driving and walking through my hometown, it was just devastating. Lots of old and large trees down, thousands and thousands, neighborhoods just destroyed, huge, beautiful structures where I grew up and went to elementary school, just with all kinds of damage, that were built during the 1904 World's Fair. And, my immediate family was very fortunate to not sustain any damage. They did lose some power for a bit, but they were fortunate in the fact that their homes were not destroyed or in that path of destruction. And I felt fortunate to even be able to find a place to stay that was safe and that was not hit directly by the tornado. At any rate, it was very devastating. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of people who are just traumatized from this event. And it's going to take some time to rebuild. But I saw also, just in listening to friends and talking to different people, just a sense of resilience, like we are going to rebuild, we're going to come together, businesses helping their communities, all kinds of really wonderful things that are happening right now, real time, in order to rebuild after this devastating situation. At any rate, as I was spending time visiting, I was in a situation where someone close to me said some things that really hit me hard. And it was curt, disrespectful, dismissive, but later it was reframed as just teasing. And I know what I heard, I know what I felt, and I know what I saw in their face in the moment. However, the narrative started shifting, the moment started getting edited, and suddenly I felt this pressure to question my reality again. And you combine that with just, the natural feelings of just sorrow and even empathy, sympathy for what has happened in that town, in that city, that really kind of added to the pressure. That being said, in the trauma-informed world, we talk about allowing yourself to know what you know and to feel what you feel, not just take at face value what someone says they meant, but how their behavior landed in your body. That is not you being sensitive. That is your nervous system doing its job, protecting you. So some things to consider in terms of tactics that you may encounter when dealing with narcissistic or toxic behaviors in close relationships could include things like love bombing, intense flattery or gifts or praise to after, a conflict or used to bypass accountability. You're so wonderful, you're so beautiful, you're so vibrant, etc. A second is triangulation. This would include pulling a third party into the situation to validate a narrative or to isolate or gang up on you, that type of thing. And this could be done virtually or it could be done in person. A third is gaslighting, denying your experience, rewriting history, or implying that you in some way, shape, or form misunderstood the situation or intentions or things of that nature. Number 4 would be dismissal or devaluation. This is the minimizing of your feelings or flipping the script and not really accepting and honoring or respecting, the way that you were made to feel in the moment. A fifth is control and manipulation. This could include using guilt, obligation, excuses, or subtle threats even to control your actions or control your response. Sixth would be avoiding accountability, and this could include reframing toxic behavior as a joke or misunderstanding or your fault. And it's important to know that these behaviors aren't always loud or obvious. Sometimes they're more subtle. And subtle doesn't necessarily mean safe, survivor. So a few things to keep in mind are that when you have ongoing emotional tension without resolution or just exposure to chronic stress or pressure, that increases your cortisol, and this can impair your memory. It can affect your immune system, your digestion, and even disrupt your sleep. And another thing to note is that fawning is a trauma response. When we get quiet or silence ourselves or, make ourselves small to avoid conflict, it can go back to the nervous system and survival responses, especially as women. Like, we can be conditioned, just even in society, to be nice, to be quiet, versus speaking truth, being honest, being vocal. And then also keep in mind that gaslighting can cause self-doubt, it can lead to hypervigilance, and it can just be flat out exhausting. And this is cognitive dissonance at work because your brain is trying to reconcile what you know with what you're being told or what's being presented to you. And that tension just drains you. Sound familiar? So here are 6 things that you can do in order to navigate narcissistic and toxic close relationships. 1 is to practice pausing. When something feels off to you, pause. Like, don't immediately react or try to explain, and certainly not over-explain. Let your body lead in the truth-telling. Number 2, journal your reality. Write down what you saw, heard, and felt. Your written truth, pen to paper, can become an anchor when someone tries to rewrite it later, whether it's minutes later or it could be weeks later, even years. Number 3, state your boundary unapologetically. You can say something like, I'm not interested in revisiting that. I've already shared how I experienced it. Period. And you don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to be mean about it. Just state the facts and try to, not be led by or fueled by feelings. And that's, by the way, where the self-regulation comes in handy. Number 4, don't try to pursue clarity from someone who is committed to distorting your reality. This is a trap. Clarity does not require consensus. And it does require, however, self-trust. And that goes back to allowing yourself to know what you know, feel what you feel, see what you see in the moment. Number 5, choose your channel. You do not have to engage in group messages of any kind, phone calls, emails, public explanations. You get to choose what protects your peace. And you can thus prioritize your peace. Number 6, shift from reacting to deciding. Ask yourself, what do I need right now to stay grounded and aligned with my truth? Survivor, protecting your peace isn't always pretty. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like clarity. Sometimes it looks like not replying to messaging, whether it's virtual or in person. Anything that tries to shrink or devalue in any way your lived experience. Your nervous system is like your compass, and your lived experience is your evidence. You don't need permission or anyone's participation to believe what your body already knows. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk says in his book, The Body Keeps the Score, in chapter 13, as we've seen, much of the wiring of our brain circuits is devoted to being in tune with others. Recovery from trauma involves reconnecting with our fellow human beings. This is why trauma that has occurred within relationships is generally more difficult to treat than trauma resulting from traffic accidents or natural disasters, like a tornado. In our society, the most common traumas in women and children occur at the hands of their parents or intimate partners. Child abuse, molestation, and domestic violence all are inflicted by people who are supposed to love you. That knocks out the most important protection against being traumatized, being sheltered by the people you love. Remember, Your truth is your tether, no matter the weather. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your truth matters, and you're worthy of feeling seen, heard, and safe. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, Survivor! Are you tired of feeling exhausted, stressed, lonely, and stuck in narcissistic relationships, and you just want closure and healing? I spent years rationalizing toxic relationships and dysfunctional environments in the name of community, connection, and career. As a result, I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. One of the worst was an alleged murderer who discarded me after I caught him lying, stopped helping him for free, and held my boundaries. Even though I dodged a bullet, I felt depressed, ashamed, and I doubted myself. I want you to know that you don't have to suffer in silence, feel alone, or crazy anymore. Come and experience the power of creating your own closure without the permission or participation of the narcissist. I've been no contact for over 4 years now, and I've grown personally and professionally. I have more clarity, stronger boundaries. I'm building a life and business that I've always wanted and enjoying real relationships. I know you want to break patterns of getting into toxic relationships, even if you don't mean to. And it feels so good to disconnect from dysfunction, set and hold boundaries, provide closure for myself, and focus on self-care. And to empower my kids to do the same. Go to closurecoachingsession.com right now and get ready to heal after narcissistic abuse. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.